Royce, nowhere to go. Tune in for the infamous morning show, giving the news that you need to know. So don't you dare miss a wake-up call. Then in the evening, I got all for y'all. Get your dose of daily vitamins. You know the queen makes it make sense. So true.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, give me just a second. I'm trying to pull my chat up on my phone. All right. There we go. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Everyone hit that like button. Now, first off, I want you all to see this man. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. I want you all to tell me that this man doesn't look like the spitting image of Dr. Sebi. Now, this is a 75-year-old man who went viral for skating. Okay, please pay attention. This man is Dr. Sebi's twin. Another Queen Ahmadiyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for.
Okay, I am absolutely amazed, for one, that he is skating in such elegant, in such an elegant fashion at the age of 75. But the fact that he looks so much like Dr. Sebi, that just made me have to take a pause to catch my breath. Okay, Andrea said that's his body double. Okay. Namaste said that guy is skating where hold on. It said that guy, LOL, skating is where I got my whole life. Okay, I love skating, honey. Absolutely love it. But he definitely skates better than I do. Okay, so with that all being said, everyone please hit that like button. Okay, like, share, subscribe. Also, if you haven't been receiving notifications, please make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. Okay, y'all know how to get down in these YouTube streets. With that all being said, let's see who's in here. And listen, guys, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. Hello, Nessie X, Vince I Am, all the way from the UK, Jeff ATL, above all that drama, Luna, Auntie Leah is in the house, Nessie, 504 Nola, Tangi is here, Latasha, Pearly is in the house. A shout out to my moderators putting in work, Samantha, Jacoby, Cookie, Giggles is here. All right, let's get into it. Red Wine Entertainment, we the people. Claudette. Okay, it's so likes up, everyone. Please hit that like button. It doesn't cost you a single thing. That's how you can support the queen for free. Okay, Brenda Wise is here. Okay, so let's get into it. Andrew, I see you, beloved. Most hated bronze flat power God. Okay, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the queen. Let's get this party started. All right, now. First off, before we talk about Reverend Al Sharpton, because I have some things to say about him, okay, please pay attention. But before we get into that, it was reported by The Source that Diddy is being pressured to take a plea deal. I want y'all to pay attention. Diddy faces pressure to cooperate with prosecutors in exchange for bond. Now, why is that important, Queen Ahmadiyah Shakur? Because I told you guys that, in my opinion, and I've said this on several occasions, that I believe that the reason Diddy isn't getting a bail is because they want to keep Diddy locked up so Diddy can start talking and tell them where those tapes are. Okay, that's what I believe to this day, that they want Diddy to let them know where the tapes are, okay? Because, they want to get rid of them, all right? They want to get rid of them just like they did with the Epstein footage. They want to get rid of it so these high-powered people don't get exposed right along with Diddy. Now, they don't care if Diddy, because they've already thrown him to the wolves, okay? They've already thrown him to the wolves for his bad behavior, daring to sue Diageo, all right? And then they threw Jay-Z to the wolves when he sued Bacardi. But unlike Diddy, as I've told you before, Jay-Z has some very good backing, some very high-powered people behind him. In fact, a whole group of people behind Jay-Z. And I'm not going to say who these people are, but they wear small hats. So with that all been said, Jay-Z's not going to jail, but Diddy's already there, and it doesn't look like he's getting out anytime soon. So they want Diddy to start talking. The question is, will he talk? Okay, will Diddy start talking and do what his father infamously did? Snitch. Remember how Diddy's father snitched, and then what happened to his father? His father turned up dead. So do you think Diddy's going to snitch? Do y'all think Diddy's going to tell on any of these people who are above him, who were participating in alleged illegal activities at the freak-offs? Well, I don't think so. But even more so, do you think Diddy's going to tell them where the footage is? And here's the thing. If Diddy told on some of these people, it probably wouldn't even do him any good because, most of the people that are bigger than Diddy are the ones they want to protect. And by they, I mean the feds. Okay? Homeland Security Investigations. This is all alleged. Now, mind you, I can't substantiate it, but that's what I think. So let's talk about it. So 2 weeks after his latest denial for bond, embattled Bad Boy Entertainment CEO Sean Diddy Combs finds himself at the center of a legal storm that shows no sign of quieting. Facing mounting pressure from prosecutors, insiders now claim that Diddy has been offered a chance at freedom, but at a cost that could send shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. According to reports from celebrity insider Janet Charlton, prosecutors are pushing Diddy to reveal the full extent of those allegedly involved in his rumored misdeeds. Sources suggest that authorities cast a wide net, demanding details on celebrities, athletes, studio heads, agents, and powerful business figures who may have played a role in Combs' legal troubles. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Now, I want you all to pay attention because here's what I think. Now, mind you, this is all just my hypothesis. So, with that all being said, you know why they want to know the names? They want to see who Diddy will tell on? Because for one, at the end of the day, if it's anybody like Lucian Grange and Clive Davis, Ronald Burkle, and those type of people, well, those people are not going to be brought to justice. Those people are not going to be indicted. Okay, none of that's going to happen to those people. What they want to know is Diddy willing to throw those people under the bus? And if so, those people are likely on tapes that Diddy has. So it all goes back. All roads lead back to the tapes. Now, of course, when they're reporting this for people like us, you see this narrative is being pushed for public consumption, in my opinion. Do they really want the names of people? No, they're not going to let Diddy out for that, for giving up names. But they will let him out for telling where the tapes are. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. Now, this is absolutely what the Queen believes. That's the only logical explanation as far as I'm concerned. And let's not forget how the feds were fumbling and bumbling the case, okay, for months, just doing all sorts of things. They were being accused of leaking footage and information to the public or to the media, okay, and then they denied it, of course. But who leaked the Cassie tape? And didn't New York Post report that one of the agents allegedly came to them anonymously, giving them information right after the raids on Diddy's residences? And then even after they went to court, Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, and filed a motion for the judge to stop the prosecution from leaking information to the press, which then becomes public. And of course, they denied it. But didn't we hear after that, even when the judge warned them not to be telling anything? If you're not doing anything, then make sure you don't, is what the judge basically said. I'm paraphrasing. But then right after that, didn't we hear again from the New York Post that they were told information by an agent who's allegedly said to them that they had footage of a freak off? Okay, said that they had freak off footage, but they couldn't tell whether or not it was consensual. And in one of the tapes that they claimed that they had to the New York Post, they said Diddy was sitting there watching. Do you guys remember this? And I said, now, if the judge has already warned them, and as the feds already know, because they're not stupid, that if they're giving out information that pertains to the case that's currently under investigation still, that they could compromise the case, and then Diddy could get off of some type of technicality. So then why would they be leaking information? And if the New York Post or any other publications are lying on their agents and implying or saying flat out that they're getting information from them, well, wouldn't the feds go and have a talk with these publications? I just have several questions, okay? Because it seemed to me like the feds were doing some of this stuff on purpose. Now, why would they want to fumble the case? Well, maybe so Diddy can get off, okay? And maybe so they can get that footage. Now, this is all speculation, okay? Do with it what you will. I mean, form your own conclusion. But this is just some of the things that I've been thinking over the past few months, as I've spoken to you about a myriad of times. Now, it goes on to say, Sharpton's source claims that while Diddy has maintained silent thus far, the temptation of bail and the possibility of a lighter sentence looms large. Sean is being tempted to start naming names, and if he cooperates, he could likely be granted bail until his trial, the source revealed. Do they really want the names or do they want the tapes? That's all I'm asking. Please think critically. However, Diddy's refusal to cooperate may not last forever. The insider hinted that the revelations could be seismic if Combs eventually speaks out. The list of people involved will shock the world. This is what the source said, raising speculation about how deep the investigation could reach. Okay, yeah. So, at the end of the day, this is why Diddy's still sitting in jail. And I told you guys this. Remember, you heard it here first. I told you all this months ago. Okay? They want to sit up there because think about this. Now, let's just talk about it for a second. Now, they keep saying that Diddy's a threat. They keep saying that Diddy's tampered with witnesses, that he's basically obstructed justice, that he's reached out to witnesses like Kalina Harper when he wasn't supposed to. They've said something about the people going around knocking on doors, trying to get people to change their stories about Diddy online. They've said all of these things that make it seem as though Diddy is such a threat. But here's the question. If Diddy is really a threat, why would the prosecution be willing to let him out on bail for giving up names? Would that make him any less of a threat to the victims, the accusers that have already come forward? Of course not. Do you all see how the narrative is being painted here? Are you all paying attention? Are you all paying attention? Because how does that even make sense? How does that even make sense at the end of the day? Okay, that's why I have several questions. Namaste said, pity the scapegoat. Okay. So with that all being said, the math isn't mathing. Because if Diddy is such a threat, as they have said on each occasion that he went to request bail, well, why would you just let him out if he gives you those names? Because they want to know exactly what's on those tapes. That's what they really want. They're putting out the names just to paint a narrative because they're not going to come out and say, well, they're pressuring him, to tell where the tapes are. They're pressuring him. So, if he tells where the tapes are, then he'll get a bail. They're not going to come out and say that. They're not going to come out and say that. That's what they're not going to do. Okay? They're not going to do that. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Alex Jones, because Alex Jones came out. I mean, you see, Alex Jones has been called a conspiracy theorist. Even though a lot of what he has said is true, this is clearly a conspiracy theory. Alex Jones came out the other day and he got slammed for it. Says, God wanted me to get that. Ha! Alex Jones falsely claims LeBron James fled the country. Sorry, sir, but what? He said LeBron fled the country. Now, you all remember that I reported to you about a week or so ago that LeBron said he may be thinking about stepping away from basketball, but it wasn't confirmed. But here comes Alex Jones reporting that, and no, he had absolutely no evidence for this. But this is what he says. I got a call Wednesday while I was hiking up a mountain. And they said, first of all, how's your phone working when you're hiking up a mountain? I have several questions, but anyway. And they said it's confirmed that a bunch of Hollywood people are actually leaving the country because of the investigations of P. Diddy, Epstein, and the PDF files. This is what he says. First of all, Epstein's dead, or Epstein, he's dead. And LeBron James just left last week and sold his condo in Florida to move to Europe. And it's connected to P. Diddy. That's how much intel I get. This is a very good source. All right. Alex Jones. But God wanted me to get that on air because I get so much stuff. LeBron James has fled the country over P. Diddy. On Saturday night, you guys, LeBron James scored 32 points as the Lakers beat the Sacramento Kings 103-99. Alex Jones, please sit down somewhere. Okay, talking about a very good source. I want you all to pay attention because unlike the Queen, when I tell you guys I have a very good source, I actually have one. It actually pans out. Let's not forget the video that I re-showed you guys yesterday where I told you guys that it was reported by a very good source, AJ Benza, and that Jamie Foxx was paralyzed and partially blind and had a stroke. Mike Tyson said something about the stroke as well. Well, now Jamie Foxx came out and said all of that himself. So I had a good source. I don't know what in the hell Alex Jones has. Okay, he's sitting there talking about the man has packed up and fled to Europe. Whoever did that was probably trolling him. Okay, now he looks like an idiot. But anyway, I digress. I absolutely digress. Vince I said, Queen, I remember the story you did when Alex Jones got his ace beaten by his wife allegedly. Yes, absolutely. You know, I had even forgotten about that, beloved. Thanks for reminding me. Okay? And so with that all being said, Sunset Night said, I don't even click on some of those clickbait videos. Okay? Just sit down somewhere. Now, Leon said, who in the hell wants to go to Europe? Right. I'm sorry. He didn't go to Jamaica. Okay. He didn't go somewhere else like the UK, perhaps. Or not even the UK. Barbados. So anyway, hold on. Daryl Turner says, not surprised with the conduct of Reverend Al Charles Sharpton Jr. or any occult, boule, dirty, Moor, Gentile, or Satanist. Why should anyone that's a melanated person, aka Israelite? Okay? No, exactly. Okay, exactly. But you know, here's the thing. The reason I point this out is because some of you guys have said that the Queen, me, myself, and I, some people have said that I don't care about Black men because I've been going in on Jay-Z and Diddy. And the reason I find that specifically interesting is because I've always been a proponent of Black men, Black people in general. Okay, I'm the one who stood up for them. I mean, let's not forget how I wrote all those letters, okay, for those letters to the parole boards for Black revolutionaries whom I call prisoners of war, still locked up behind bars, like Alugbala Shakur, okay? And then also, I'm the one who every August does a report on Black August. Let's not forget how I always cover the stories about Black men who are murked by the police, like the one I did yesterday, okay, about Mr. Robert Brooks, beaten to death by 13 low-down, dirty, nefarious corrections officers, okay, at the Marcy Detention Facility. With that all being said, let's also not forget how I defended Bill Cosby and Michael Jackson. I want you all to pay attention at the end of the day. You know, just because I'm not defending some of the people that you may love, idolize, or even worship, don't try to paint a narrative. The reason I don't defend Diddy or Jay-Z is because I happen to think that they're both guilty. Now, whether Jay-Z did anything with this woman who claims she was 13 at the time of the alleged assault between her, Jay-Z, Diddy, and Celebrity B, whom I believe is J-Lo, at the end of the day, I don't know if that's true or not, and I keep telling you that's for the judge to decide, but I absolutely think that Jay-Z is guilty of other things. And I also think that Jay-Z is Ramir Satterway's father in real life. And I think that it's a darn shame that he won't even, you know, go and take the test to prove whether it's true or false. Okay? And I also have remember all of the rumors that have speculated over Jay-Z for the past decades, just like they have with Diddy. But y'all, some of y'all want to go in on the Queen But who you don't go in on is Reverend Al Sharpton, who's supposed to be so pro-Black, who's supposed to be a whole civil rights activist and all that. Yeah, I find that interesting because y'all don't go in on him. That's what some of y'all don't do, but y'all want to come for the queen? Well, let's talk about it because Al Sharpton's a whole snitch. He is a whole snitch, and I believe that while he was at those freak-offs, allegedly, that he was gathering intel on Diddy. That's what I think. I think he was gathering intel on Diddy. Now, I'm not going to say that he was always gathering intel on Diddy, but I think that at a certain point, he started gathering intel on Diddy, okay? Because you should ask yourselves, if he and Diddy were so close, how come Reverend Al Sharpton is not speaking out for Diddy? How come he's not out here defending Diddy? How come he's not saying anything in Diddy's defense? How come Reverend Al Sharpton is silent is all I'm asking. How come he's not speaking up for Jay-Z? I mean, it's already been proven that the accuser of Jay-Z has had numerous inconsistencies. So how come he didn't come and speak out for Jay-Z? Al Sharpton, I have several questions, is all I'm saying. But he's not going to say nothing. Al Sharpton is a part of the Plea. Please pay attention. And when you're a member of said group, now this is all alleged, you don't really care about the common everyday folk, and you don't even care about your fellow Boule members. If they get on the wrong side of the other people that don't look like you, and you will throw them to the wolves. Look how long he's been friends with Diddy, even when he was fat, okay? Even when he was a whole Big Mac. All right, he was friends with Diddy. Look at him. There's a picture of him at one of those freak-off parties, allegedly. Nobody's wondering why the good old Reverend hasn't come out and said a word. I just want y'all to pay attention, but some of y'all try to go in on me, honey. I'm pro-Black in real life. I guarantee that I've actually done more for the Black community than Reverend Al Sharpton. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have. How many letters has he written to parole boards to help get those revolutionaries out? The ones in there on trumped up charges and all of that. All right? The ones who've been out there fighting, a whole revolution for their own people. How many times has he gone to visit any of them or sent them care packages or put money on their books? Reverend Al Sharpton, I have several questions. Don't y'all dare try to go in on the queen, honey.
You've been there for the culture at all times, you know what I'm saying?
Gotta be, and that's why I'm so proud of you, because Black excellence is personified by you. You keep it Black. A lot of the people in hip-hop and a lot of people in music went mainstream. You brought mainstream Black. They came to us because of you.
Oh man, I love you for that.
That's why I want to be here.
I love
with
you, and I appreciate you. And I spoke to Meek today, y'all. I ain't want to say nothing, but I spoke to Meek today. That this is private business, but I think y'all should know that he's in good spirits.
Yeah.
I actually heard his voice, and Pops is helping him with what's going on, and we're gonna stay tuned. We're gonna break Meek out. We're gonna break Meek out. Revolt is gonna break Meek out.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Now Diddy needs somebody to break him out. Please pay attention to the irony of it all. And where is Meek? Where is Meek? See, you guys shamed poor little old Meek. Now he can't even speak in Diddy's defense. Now he said a little something once about, how we go in on Black people and all of that. But Meek has not really been a proponent either. He's been quiet because you all have shamed him by saying that he was zesty and that he and Diddy had something going on. Now, I know I said some of the same things, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about you guys, so please pay attention. C-Stan, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved, and blessings right back to you. Peace, love, and blessings.
Miami! What is it? How many seconds?
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Woo! 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 You see the fireworks, baby? Woo! Yeah! Happy New Year! If it's gonna be your year, scream yeah!
We're in our stride. Cruising the dark, tainted my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules. In this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
We keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power. It's in
There you saw Reverend Al Sharpton celebrating the new year with Diddy. Okay? But now he doesn't have time for him. He can't even come out and say a word in Diddy's defense. I find it all very interesting. Yeah, I absolutely think he was out there snitching on Diddy. Because, he was a whole informant, mind you. He was a whole informant. Report, Al Sharpton was FBI informant. The Reverend Al Sharpton has served as an outspoken civil rights activist, presidential nominee, television host, and if a new report is to be believed, a key informant to the FBI. Now, according to a lengthy report by website The Smoking Gun, Sharpton served as a confidential informant. And matter of fact, he was confidential informant number 7. Okay, that's how much research I did on his arse. Now, in the 1980s, mind you, playing a prominent role collecting information on New York City's most prolific mobsters, Sharpton has denied the claims. Now, but that all being said, in a Tuesday morning press conference, Sharpton said that he denied them, but then he came back and admitted it. Okay, so just so you all know, this isn't alleged. He is and was. Okay, he was an informant. Could still be for all I know. But anyway, he already admitted to it. Said that he's a cat, not a rat. That's what he said. I mean, he tried to, justify the fact that he was a whole snitch. Now, in a Tuesday morning press conference, Sharpton said that he wasn't an informant, but rather he was merely cooperating with the FBI. I'm sorry, Al Sharpton, say what? Please make that make sense. He wasn't an informant, but he was merely cooperating with the FBI. Isn't that snitching? Okay. Then he says, "I'm not a rat, I'm a cat." This is what he said. Okay, so based on interviews, court records, and hundreds of pages of documents obtained as the result of requests invoking Freedom of Information Act, claims that Sharpton worked for a joint FBI and NYPD crime task force that was primarily pursuing the notorious Genovese crime family. Sharpton allegedly was sent out to talk to mobsters with a bugged briefcase. Had a whole wire, honey. The website said that information he obtained led to the bugging of 2 Genovese family social clubs, 3 cars, and a dozen phone lines approved by 8 different federal judges. All in deep with the feds. Y'all don't think that he was gathering intel on Diddy? Okay? Please pay attention. During Tuesday's press conference, he admitted with working with the FBI for 2 years and wearing a wire to record conversations. Conversations were recorded, and I would record them today. He said, "We are victims trying to stop something." So when it pertains to him, he's a victim, and he was trying to stop something. Al Sharpton, you're a whole snitch. And don't think for 1 minute that he only snitched on the mob. He snitched on Black people too, allegedly. Of course, this is my opinion. I think that he had a lot to do with the demise of Dr. King, him and Jesse Nefarious Jackson. But let's continue. In a previous interview, Sharpton told the New York Times, "Most of what I've looked through on The Smoking Gun does not remind me of anything I was involved in." The site says that Sharpton denied its claims in an interview, particularly one stating that he was flipped after a drug deal. Yeah, did y'all know that? The claim is, "I helped get the mob, not that I was in the mob. I was never told I was an informant." Oh, so you weren't told you were an informant, but yet they bugged your briefcase, told you to go talk to the Genovese family and come back with the information? I'm sorry, sir. What part of they didn't have to tell you were an informant? Okay. Did you miss? All right. If they told me to do that, they wouldn't have to spell it out and say, "Ma'am, and by the way, you're a confidential informant." You know that, right? That's common sense. Now, it has long been known that Al Sharpton worked with the FBI in the 90s to assist in an investigation against boxing promoter Don King. I want y'all to pay attention. Now, he was snitching on Black people too. Who knew? Because see, when he does those interviews, the good old Reverend Sharpton, all he ever talks about is the mob. So he's trying to make it look like to people who look like me and him that he didn't do anything against us. But he snitched on Don King, allegedly. Now, he told the New York Daily News that he contacted authorities after Gambino family member Joseph Buonanno and others sent him death threats for trying to help African Americans. A likely story. Because he's never actually helped African Americans. All he's done is just talk. Now, after he tried to help African Americans succeed on the business side of the music industry. Please pay attention. Now, if you're a victim of a threat, you're not an informant. You're a victim trying to protect yourself. I encourage kids all the time to work with law enforcement. You're acting like it's a scandal for me to do that. Well, it's a scandal for you to be a snitch and sitting up here telling on Don King. That's what I know. It's a snitch for you to be sitting up here telling on Don King and having something allegedly to do with the demise of Dr. King, Al Sharpton. Oh, so y'all might not believe it, but I believe it's absolutely true. Now, let's keep going. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm going to play this audio from a Vlad TV. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, here we go. Now listen to this.
So recently, I interviewed Michael Franzese. He was part of the Colombo crime family.
Sure.
He was a capo
Right.
who left. He was the highest ranking member of a major Italian crime family that left and talked about it. In our interview, I didn't know about this before because I just didn't research it. He talked about dealing with Al Sharpton.
Sure.
And talked about how he turned into an FBI informant.
Sure.
But the only one that got in trouble over that was Al Sharpton because he tried to do a drug deal with the agents. And then he became an informant after that, 100%, no matter what he says. He was an informant. He tried to do a drug deal. They got him on tape doing the deal, the whole bit.
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton.
Was an informant.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. Did he get anyone busted?
That I don't know, but you know, there's a lot of news on this. I mean, Newsday wrote a 3-part series on his being, you know, Al Sharpton and getting himself in trouble. I don't know how he skated that, but that's Al. I mean, he's a good talker. He gets away with stuff.
You know, it's funny because people call me the police,
Right.
but they love Al Sharpton.
Right.
But Al Sharpton was an actual Fed.
Sure.
Like he was actually wearing a wire
Right.
and getting people busted.
Let me tell you what happened. So I heard about that when I had just come on the radio.
Okay.
And I started talking about it, and they cut me. I was in Seattle, and they cut me off.
Huh.
They cut me off in the middle of the broadcast. I had no idea what was happening. I don't. If it's true, it's true, and obviously it is.
I mean, he actually admitted to it.
So
he did a press conference.
What's the point of it? Well, we having this argument. If I don't say it enough, it goes away. So I mean, I don't get that's so dumb. It's like the boogeyman's coming. Let's put the cover over our eyes because everybody knows the boogeyman's chainsaw can't get through these Superman sheets. What the fuck? That's so dumb.
It's just interesting how people spin certain things.
Okay. Now, in that same video, Vlad talked about how he watched the press conference and how Al Sharpton said he was a cat, not a rat. I want y'all to pay attention. Okay. I want you all to pay attention. At the end of the day, Al Sharpton needs to sit down somewhere. He's not for Black people. He never has been. It's all just been a means to an end for him to get what he wants. And I absolutely think that he snitched on Diddy. Okay. Was gathering and collecting intel. Now, with that all being said, but let's continue. And I'm going to give you a very interesting point as we proceed about why there's no excuse other than the fact that he's thrown Diddy and Jay-Z under the bus as to why he's not speaking out against them. Okay? We'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
School, but he's a reverend. He was a pimp back in the day. You know, he was in the streets. He's a reverend. I don't think he ever been to theology school, but he's a reverend. He was an FBI informant. I think he admitted that. He's an FBI informant. So I'm always back and forth with him. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, all right, I'm down with Al Sharpton. Then I go, I don't know about Al Sharpton. Yo, what is Al Sharpton's real purpose? You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Did you know James Brown was Al Sharpton's mentor? Can you believe it? Hey, let me tell you something now. I'm going to teach you way. You're going to be a reverend, speaking to people, letting people know. Al Sharpton, to you. You know, right? I can't believe that. I don't even know how James Brown could be anybody's mentor. Would you even understand him? Government, let me tell you something. We got to find the people and got to make sure that the people are going to understand, because if they don't understand, they're just going to be not on a good foot. What? What, Mr. Brown? You didn't hear me, huh? Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you one more time. I said, Muslims got to be on a good foot, because if it's not, then black people ain't going to suffer. Right. Anyway, can I get Google Translate? He used to be like really, really big. He used to be really big, remember? With the little perm. But the one thing I do love is that fucking dance. Oh my goodness. This dance he got where he looking like a black George Washington, that got George Washington here. He looked like a stop sign. That hit. It looks like AI. You people got to understand a lot of what I'm doing for the people is very important. I appreciate y'all, but you got to understand that when I dance, women have always been around me. Have always been. Let's not get it twisted. Just because I was with James Brown didn't mean I couldn't get down. I was a pimp. I was fat, but I could boogie. So this is the same dance I've been doing for a long time. A long time. That's the problem. See, psychologically, you think I can't dance, but when I start to boogie, I fuck people's heads up. I'm sorry for the cursing, but I'm just trying to let you know I'm a human being like anybody else. You see everybody else dancing, but when Al Sharpton dances, it throws everybody off, because that's a God-given talent that I've been given when I boogie. When I boogie down, your mama, your grandmother, and your girlfriend got to watch out for the Al Sharpton boogie. That's real talk. I just want to let y'all know, appreciate the happy birthday, but look out, because I'm going to never stop dancing. That's real talk. James Brown taught me a lot. Reverend Al Sharpton turned 70. All right, Al, he's a young kind of old dude. And I got to tell you, you know, Al Sharpton's, you know, is a very, very important person in the African-American community. I know there's some things I question about his ass. You know, come on, let's keep it 100. But Al Sharpton has done a lot for the black community as a civil rights activist, also being on MSNBC with his own show. Congratulations to him. So for him to be who he is now, I think I got to give him some credit on that. You know, he's really made himself a pretty prominent figure in the African-American community, whether you like him or not, you know, all right? He was a pimp back.
Okay, Godfrey is hilarious, but please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now let's keep going. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
This day in
In the civil rights movement, there were those who led it who were paid to get us off our square. And
on this day in 1988, a group of Black leaders, including Reverend Jesse Jackson and representatives from the NAACP, met to discuss the national Black agenda. It was here that Jackson and his peers catapulted the term African American into the country's lexicon.
Dr. King, family attorney. Yeah. If you haven't read the book, Orders to Kill and the Assassination of Dr. King, you better read it. He names Jesse Jackson unquestionably as an accomplice to the murder. They say Jesse called off the security at the Divine Lorraine Hotel in Memphis on April 4th.
How you think they got Martin out on that balcony? How you think they got the guns planted inside the place to get Malcolm? The preachers are the new COINTELPRO FBI informants. All of our preachers are FBI informants, homie, because they're in bed with the state by way of 501c3, tax-exempt status.
Years, the Reverend Al Sharpton admits he was an FBI informant.
Yes, he says that he was the cat that got the rats, but others say that
We agreed to be called black, and we're proud of it, remember?
And the vice president came in.
All right. Okay, so there y'all have it. Some of these preachers is out here doing us dirty. Please pay attention. Now, that whole thing with Al Sharpton dancing, I absolutely cannot. Measurement says, LOL, Queen, have you seen the video of Al Sharpton in French Montana with Diddy, and he's walking around in his underwear in the hotel room? No, honey, absolutely not. This sounds absolutely nefarious, okay? I'm going to have to look for it. Thank you for that tidbit of information, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. This is all nefarious. All right, but let's keep going. Al Sharpton is nefarious, and so is Jesse Jackson, as far as I'm concerned, okay?
Don't serve us. Well, no, you're not serving me. We're in a place now where our advocates don't serve us. Well, no, National Action Network got that money. Y'all don't do enough work to get that money. You cannot be on MSNBC. This is an ethics violation. You cannot be on MSNBC telling me, interviewing Harris and smiling and just acting like, well, I'm just down with her because she's for the people. You cannot have Al Sharpton taking money from Power and then say, I'm going to apply pressure to Power. No, you're not. You're going to take the money from Power. Acting like, well, I'm just doing this because it's right. No, it seems to me that you're just doing this because there's a dollar in it. What are you doing? Look at this. Sharpton reportedly earns a 7-figure salary from MSNBC and is paid handsomely by the National Action Network, which he founded in 1991. The nonprofit paid Sharpton around $650,000 in 2021 out of $7 million in revenues. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask y'all a question. This Negro right here. Why in the world, if you're making 7 figures from MSNBC, why can't you forego your check for the National Action Network? There's some low life stuff right here. Why won't you just say, if you are making 7 figures, that means you have $1 million, multi-million-dollar salary from the National Action Network. Why can't you just say, y'all keep that? Now, if I get fired or I lose my job at MSNBC, I'm going to go back and get that salary. Why do you need that? You greedy. You don't trust no greedy advocate. Don't trust no greedy person like this. The nonprofit paid Sharpton around $650,000 in 2021 out of $7 million in revenue and spent another $940,000 that year for transportation services to private jet firm Apollo Jets and the limousine company Carrier International. What kind of activists need to be riding around the limousine? Either you crazy or you think I'm crazy, but I don't know which one it is. If you got what kind of limousine was King in? What kind of limousine was Fannie Lou Hamer in? What kind of limousine? What kind of limousine were these people in? You need to ride around in the limo. They spent $650,000 on salary and $940,000 for you to ride around and pretend. And I thought you said Tyler Perry gave you the jet. Turns out that if they only got $7 million in and they spent $940 and then $650 on you, we at least 1.5 million just on you, just spending on you. This is a one-man show. These people are narcissists. This is part of the trifecta that has failed you. This is it. You can't have nobody like this.
Forgot to unmute myself. I have to agree. Why does he need all of that money from the National Action Network if he's getting paid all the other money? At the end of the day, this man has been a known snitch. He has snitched on Black people before we know it. And I absolutely think that he had something to do with Diddy. But hold on, because it clearly gets worse. Because do you all remember how the good old Reverend Al Sharpton did the family of Atatiana Jefferson when she got murked by a police officer a few years ago? I bet you don't remember, but I do. So let's get into it.
Her own home. The officer claimed late today a former Texas police officer was found guilty of manslaughter in the shooting death of a woman in her own home. The officer claimed he thought there was a burglary in progress when he opened fire, but there wasn't. The family says they had opened the door because they burned something on the stove. Here's our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, now.
Tonight, a Texas police officer guilty of manslaughter in the killing of Atatiana Jefferson, who was shot in her own Fort Worth, Texas home in a case tragic on so many levels.
Verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Aaron York Dean, guilty of the offense of manslaughter.
Aaron Dean, who resigned from the force amid the controversy, now faces up to 20 years in prison for the October 2019 incident. The case unfolding on Dean's body camera after a call to check on a residence with an open door just after 2:30 a.m. that autumn night. Dean taking the stand, claiming he thought it was a burglary in progress, and that he fired a shot into the residence through a window after he saw a figure with a gun.
When I saw the barrel of that gun pointed at me, I fired a single shot from my duty weapon.
But there was no burglary in progress. Jefferson's nephew tells a far more innocent story, that the door had been left open because they had burned hamburgers earlier in the night and that the two were up playing video games.
I just want you to remember it exactly the way you do. Do you remember if she had the gun up or down?
Down. The boy saying Jefferson pulled her legally owned handgun from her purse, fearing a break-in, and that she never pointed it at the officer. Then the fatal shot.
Okay, I think we've heard enough, and I just wanted you all to revisit that because Al Sharpton did her family dirty. You see, what happened was there were two sides of her family, her father on one side and other relatives on the other. Now, the other relatives had raised like $250,000 in GoFundMe funds to bury her. But her father said, wait a second, we don't need that money. I have life insurance on my daughter, and I'm going to pay for her funeral. So there was a discrepancy. And if you ask me, it was because the family wanted that money, okay? Because we know they weren't going to spend $250,000, okay, which was the alleged amount. We knew they weren't going to spend that on a funeral. So there was a bit of a back and forth. So here's what happened, because the Reverend Al Sharpton, who had been on the front of this story, like he's going to do so much and so willing to help and so die hard for Black people and the loss of life of Atatiana Jefferson, he was supposed to speak at her funeral. But when there was a discrepancy and the service that was booked to happen wasn't going to go the way Al Sharpton thought, there weren't going to be a whole bunch of cameras there, it wasn't going to be a publicity fiasco for him to get clout, because he was clout chasing. So here's what happened. Jefferson, who was Black, was shot by Aaron Dean, a white police officer who resigned and was charged Friday with murder. Now, also Saturday, the tone of what had been planned as a jubilant event to mark the 60th anniversary of a visit to Fort Worth by Martin Luther King Jr. turned grim because of the circumstances of Jefferson's killing. About 30 people attended. Now, several of the speakers at the King event on Main Street and 8th echoed the call from faith leaders to come, or that the time had come for a consent decree in Fort Worth in which a U.S. District Court judge would guide police department reforms. Kayev Tatum, the pastor of New Mount Rose Missionary Baptist Church, has said federal oversight is urgent. Now, the Reverend Al Sharpton, who had been scheduled to deliver remarks at Jefferson's funeral, spoke by speakerphone at the Main Street event. He didn't even have the decency to show up after he had these people sitting there waiting on him, after he sat there and acted like it was all good and he was going to show up and show out. He didn't even show up because there was a discrepancy. So all the publicity that he thought he was going to get, now this is my opinion, it's the reason he didn't show up. He just simply had them to call him and then told them, and this was the most ridiculous thing I've seen, he told them to put him on speaker and then hold the speaker up to the microphone so he could talk. That's how much of a damn Al Sharpton gave about Atatiana Jefferson. Okay, but y'all want to try to go in on the queen, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, and if you're thinking that maybe he just doesn't want to be attached to Diddy and Jay-Z at this, this tumultuous time when they're being accused of such allegations, well, let me remind you of this. Al Sharpton had no problem coming out and defending Nate Parker. Al Sharpton backs Nate Parker, takes aim at Hollywood and right-wing agenda. Yeah. Says now all of a sudden they rediscover what they already knew. The way you kill the message is you try to smear the messenger. So do you all remember this incident? This is what happened. And I defended Nate Parker too, by the way, for those who say, oh, you just going in when I see a Black man go down. I absolutely defended Nate Parker because here's what happened. Nate Parker did the movie, he directed the movie Birth of a Nation. Okay, Birth of a Nation. And it was about Nat Turner. Now, when he was in college years prior to this, he was accused of rape of a white woman that went to college with him. Now, he was acquitted. The man was literally acquitted. But here's the thing. As soon as the media, okay, and the powers that shouldn't be found out that he's bringing up this story, he's doing this movie about Nat Turner, who they don't want us ever talking about, because we already know Nat Turner was a revolutionary. We already know what he did, how he took over, okay, and killed his slave masters. They don't want us telling those kind of stories. Any story that we tell about slavery, we have to be downtrodden and forlorn and suppressed and afraid and doing exactly what Master says and when he says it and how he says it. We can't be out here trying to fight to get free. They don't want to show those images and those stories. They don't want them told. But because Nate Parker dared to do so, well, they brought up that old story of the rape allegations that he was in fact acquitted of years before, okay, over a decade before when he was in college. So the Reverend Al Sharpton is throwing his weight behind embattled writer and director Nate Parker, whose film Birth of the Nation has been marred by a great charge Parker faced nearly 2 decades ago while a student at Penn State University. Okay? Speaking in Harlem to supporters of the organization he runs, the National Action Network Sharpton lashed out at Hollywood's power brokers and a right-wing media for trying to discredit Parker just at the moment when his film was set to debut. So I said all that to say this. Don't think that he's afraid of any type of backlash. And that's why he's not speaking up for Diddy or Jay-Z. Because I can assure you that's not the case. Okay? Because he spoke up for Nate Parker. That's because he likes Nate Parker. Al Sharpton didn't really care for Diddy or Jay-Z. He was using them as a means to an end, as far as I'm concerned. Now, that's my opinion. And I absolutely think that he was snitching and gathering intel on Diddy. Now, of course, I can't prove that. But hold on. Let's also talk about Reverend Al Sharpton vows to fight for Michael Jackson and his family. Okay? So he absolutely defended Michael Jackson. But when he started to distance himself from Michael was when Michael called Tommy Mottola the devil and then started saying things about Sony. He didn't want anything to do with that. But he did actually speak up for Michael Jackson and his family. So why isn't he saying anything about Jay-Z and Diddy? I just want you all to pay attention. And then another thing, let me just bring this back to the forefront of your memory for those of you who forgot. Now, as I told you all, was innocent. And so that's why I spoke up for Bill Cosby. But in case you missed it or you forgot, let's go back to this interview. Let's go back to this interview that I conducted with Bill Cosby's publicist, Mr. Andrew Wyatt. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
It's important for people to understand the world that we live in as we look at these entertainers today. Mm-hmm. We have to understand that of all of these Black entertainers today still have to succumb to the oppressor. Absolutely. They don't have the things that they claim to have that you see on social media. The new branding on social media now amongst Black celebrities to say I'm a billionaire. You know, I'm a billionaire. Believe the women. I'm not saying bad things don't happen to women, but bad things have been happening to our Black women from the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. Our grandmothers and great grandmothers and ancestors have been raped by white men since the beginning of time. If you truly believe in Me Too and believe the women, then you will go in through history and say all of the people who have developed any form of wealth from slaves and raping Black women, we're going to destroy your character and your legacy.
Mm-hmm. And you need to pay the descendants of those people, but they're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. Reparations will never happen. Never. You know, our form of reparations that they tested the water was with us and became the litmus test with those stimulus checks during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And when they saw how Black got that money and they thought that they had the same status as celebrities, and they were able to shop in these stores alongside their biggest names because they said we're on an even playing field. They said, look, see what they're going to do with the money.
Yeah.
So reparations is something I believe in, but will it happen? I don't know.
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. Now I want to show this this news report on Joan Tashis. Is that her name? Tashis?
Joan Tarsha.
Okay. Yes, because this woman came after 50 years accused of Mr. Cosby.
She was a publicist back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And Joan Tarsha, when she first came out,
2014.
2014, she was one of the group that CNN paraded out. So Don Lemon calls me up, and Don, he said, I'm going to have Joan Tarsha on live. I said, okay. Why don't you have me on too? He said, well, no, I can. My president is not going to allow that to happen. I said, well, you guys do it with other people. You have Gloria Allred on,
right?
When someone comes on the air to defend Mr. Cosby, why can't you have me on? He said, I can't do it. He said, but what's your comment about this? I said, well, okay, Don, she's claiming, how can this black man, Bill Cosby, who is a renowned figure, in the spotlight at his prime of I Spy, and he's under the watchful eye of the FBI, and you got J. Edgar Hoover, who's the head of the FBI, and you mean to tell Bill Cosby to go around drugging and raping white women
and just getting away with it when the FBI is watching? Yeah, that's
impossible.
Not making any sense. That's not making any
he's
sense.
number, if you Google it, he's number like 128 or 129 on Nixon's enemies list, along with Dick Gregory and so many others were on that list. A lot of renowned white names and black names on that list. It's communist. So what I'm saying is that whether it's Bill Cosby or anybody, we have to stop depending on social media, because the internet is something that we live on because we want something to believe.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. At the end of the day, I said all that to say this, okay? Bill Cosby, I had a reason to believe that he was innocent, okay? At the end of the day, those women were complicit. And as I told you all before, when I reported on his case, back in the day, that was something that people did. They would take these pills and drink. This was something they would do, okay? And at the end of the day, the bottom line is, in my opinion, those women were all complicit, okay? Mr. Cosby may have given them things, but they asked for it. Now, that's my opinion. All right? That's my opinion. And some of them were proven liars, like Janice Dickerson, who admitted to lying, okay, for her book. So I had good reason to believe that Mr. Cosby was telling the truth. And so therefore, I still do to this day. And so that's why I defended Mr. Cosby. I had reason to believe Michael Jackson was innocent because of the whole thing with David Geffen. Okay, because him allegedly getting upset because Michael wouldn't do the do with him, wouldn't, succumb to his advances, allegedly, when he tried to allegedly kiss Michael at a party. Okay, and then Oprah sat there with her low down self and brought those two lying thugs on her platform, gave them a voice so they could sit there and disparage Michael even after he'd been acquitted. And they shouted his, the accusations about Michael to the top of the mountain. But when Michael was acquitted, they whispered it. That's what they did. And I want you all to pay attention. Now, with that all being said, Bill Cosby absolutely was on Nixon's list. Okay, because I have the receipts. Now, here's his name right here. It says, getting on the White House enemy list has become the latest statute symbol, okay, in Washington. I would have been disappointed if I had made the list of the top 20 enemies. Rival politicians like Senators Ed Muskie and George McGovern used to be called opponents, not enemies. Celebrities like Gregory Peck and Bill Cosby, who have been criticized by President Nixon, used to be called critics, not enemies. So, this whole thing was all real sketchy as far as I'm concerned, with the whole thing about Dr. Bill Cosby. And here's another thing. Hold on, let me go to the text. Hold on, you guys. While I'm looking for this receipt, let's have a word from my sponsor, 12 Tribes. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. And please be sure to get the likes up.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all been said, you can purchase 12 Tribes at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so now, and here's the thing. After that interview with Mr. Andrew White, I kept in touch with him. And, you know, I heard something and I actually texted him about it. Okay, I heard Dr. Umar talking about a very specific reason as to why they actually went after Mr. Cosby. And so I texted him, I said, good morning, beloved. Is what Dr. Umar said about Mr. and Mrs. Cosby true? He replied, it's very true. Kinder Morgan was running a $450 million pipeline from North Carolina to Massachusetts. The Cosby's compound prevented that pipeline, and Mrs. Cosby, the Cosby compound prevented that pipeline. And Mrs. Cosby waged a fight against Kinder Morgan with the help of former Governor Duval Patrick to stop Kinder Morgan. As soon as that happened, allegations waged against Mr. Cosby started like an inferno. Allegations were waged against him like an inferno. See, the thing about me is I do the research. Doesn't matter what people are saying. It doesn't matter about any rumors or whatever. I'm going to do the research, okay? And so with that all been said, I always believed and still do in Mr. Cosby's innocence as Michael Jackson's, who was acquitted. With that all being said, you know, the bottom line is Al Sharpton, if he was so much for Black folk, why did he allegedly snitch? Okay, on Don King. And if he was bold enough to come out and speak up for Nate Parker and Michael Jackson, well, why hasn't he said anything about Diddy or Jay-Z? Why is he not defending them? Well, because like I said, I absolutely think that Al Sharpton is a whole snitch, still a snitch till this day. And I think that he's given the feds some information on Diddy and what happened at those parties. Okay, and he might be on some of those tapes, which would be more of a reason, in my opinion, for him to give the feds information. Let's not forget that the feds have already talked to some of the people on those tapes. Was Al Sharpton on those tapes? Because he was definitely at those parties. Okay, allegedly. All right, with that all being said, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Cookie says Sharpton is deadly. One Who Cares says suspicious. Okay. Leon Gardner said Mr. Cosby was high-tech lynched. Exactly. All right, and here's the thing. Bill Cosby should not ever have even been prosecuted in the first place due to the agreement with a previous prosecutor in the case after the deposition. But they went back and did it anyway. And then that's why he was allowed to get out. And then, you know, you have people like Mark Lamont Hill saying that, oh, he got out on a technicality. It was not a technicality. Okay. A technicality is a mistake in judicial procedure. At the end of the day, what they did was blatant. That was no mistake. That was all by design. Okay. And they did that, and they knew darn well that he should never have been prosecuted because of, like I said, what the previous prosecutor had agreed to. So with that all being said, Al Sharpton's likely on them darn tapes, honey, and snitching to save himself. Okay. Cookie said, I believe Sharpton is on them tapes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So I'm just saying, y'all want to go in on the queen, honey? I'm a whole revolutionary in real life. Okay. I defend my people when I think that they're innocent, but I will absolutely call them out when I think that they're not. Because if we can't hold our own people accountable, then how can we talk about what other people are doing to our people? Okay. I'm going to need somebody to make that make sense. Now, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Claudette says exactly, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. Al Dalton, he always was on their payroll. All right. So CB said, that's right, Queen. Bubba said, I've met Al Sharpton and hung out with him a couple of times, and he seemed like a decent guy. But I'm 100% certain that Diddy is innocent and he will be free from jail soon. All right, beloved. Well, here's the thing. I will say this. Vince, I answered facts on Box Queen. Okay, thank you, beloved. All right. And so with that all being said, Randa says it's in the 60s here in the South. Leon says, thank you. Okay. Love and Abundance Queen says, Red White Entertainment. Okay. Thank you all. I love you all to life. Listen, we're going to be live on the spiritual channel today. So for those of you that follow the spiritual channel, I have something special planned for you. So make sure you tune in. Okay. I'm going to be live on there probably around, I'm going to say, no, you know what? Scratch that. I'm not going to go live on the spiritual channel today. I'm sorry. I just thought about something. I'll be back on this channel because I have something that I'm currently investigating. And when I gather all of my receipts, I'll be back to talk about that. It's nothing to do with Diddy or Jay-Z, but this is something important. And I have several questions. So I'll likely be back to talk about that, okay? I'll be on the spiritual channel tomorrow. But again, I do have something special lined up for you guys. Durana says, great broadcast as usual, Queen. Thank you. You're welcome, beloved. Okay, so listen, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Don't forget to keep your notifications on for the next broadcast later on this evening. All right? So with that all been said, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got